we have members and non-members of the Shropshire Chamber. They come together, they meet like-minded businesswomen, share best practice, ideas for the future. We have Deborah Mitchell today from Heaven Skincare, and we have a fantastic group of ladies. Normally we have about 30-40 people for this event, but today we've drawn over 50. A lot of the business community know her story, want to hear her ideas, how she's become the lady that she is today with her business.
When I worked at my first job, I left after buying a pack of nail extensions. That's all the money I had, £10, and I got a £1 tip. And then the rest of the nail extensions paid for the couch, and then it carried on like that. And that's how I have grown my business. We didn't have loans, we didn't have anything, and I didn't have skincare. I just didn't, and I couldn't afford it. And I used to, like, without a couch, I used to do the treatments on the couches. And really, if you think about me now, I am still that mobile beauty therapist. I do occasionally just pop to a few palaces as well. Somebody mentioned, am I nervous talking to all of you? I'm really proud to actually be talking to all of you ladies, because you, in your jobs, you're doing amazing jobs. When they were doing sort of teaching me, I sort of used to drift off and think, you know, I'm a bit bored here. I've learned all about what they want to say, and I planned my whole future. So I planned what I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to finish my beauty course. I wanted to go mobile. Then I wanted to get some place in hotels and beauty salons in hotels. I wanted my own skincare range then. I never actually mentioned that I wanted to treat royalty, but I did probably want to treat a lot of nice people. So as I was doing my mobile job, I started to realise that there was something that I remembered was actually coming to fruition. And I do believe that whatever you think about, you can create. I haven't read The Secret, although apparently that's got something in there as well. So I actually created the mobile beauty therapy, and I went round and everything. And then one day I went to a Holiday Inn at Telford, and they said, you don't fancy renting a room, do you? And I said, oh, yeah, actually I do. She says, well, we've got a disabled toilet. Okay, right, so I'll have it. So the disabled toilet, the couch, it's square actually, so the couch went along, and I just moved the couch with the client on it. My shoulders did well, you know, from that. And when I'd done really well and achieved quite a lot, they gave me the sunbed room as well, which was very hot. But I felt I'd got the world. But within a short time, I was earning £12,000 a month. Well, if you think about it, I was like 25 there. And £12,000 a month is quite a lot of money, isn't it? I used all of that money to create all of my products and test them and get them passed, because you know, you have to do that. You know, they are very stringent on the testing and things like that. But I loved it, and I did really, really well, and I loved my clients, and I still do get very involved with my clients, and I miss them when I'm not seeing them. I think about them a lot. I eventually wanted 2 children, but I never thought about that because I thought, I'm too busy now, I don't want any kids. So one day I was in my my salon, and I thought, somebody's pregnant, because I've got this little bit of a gift of knowing sort of things, with the like slightly psychic. So I go, are you pregnant?
No.
Anyway, nobody was. It was me. So, you're faced with being pregnant and running 2 businesses, and there's not a lot you're going to do about it. And I wasn't actually married at the time, or living with my husband at the time. Later on, you know, before the baby was born, and there was the... So, my customers used to come to my house, go to the different salons as well. I've got a team of people, and they used to hold my baby in their arms. And I brought out more skincare products there. And what I started to want to do was sell my products not in different places in this country. I wanted to sell them in the world. So I thought to myself, I want them to be so special, because I think they're so special, I think the clients are so special. I didn't want everybody to have them, and I didn't want every salon to have them, because I wanted everybody to enjoy the fact that all of my products were so unusual. But something had happened to me, if I just step back from being, something had happened to me when I was at the Holiday Inn, before I had Ella. I'd sent off my products to be mass produced because I was working really, really hard, and I didn't have the time to make the products in my kitchen, which I definitely did and still will do. And I made them. I was making them at night while I was doing this, earning this money. I said, could you make some formulas for me? And I said, oh yes. So I told them everything, told them how great they were, why they were great, how it works and everything. Gave them all this money, which was quite a lot at that time. It's probably about £25,000, which would be a lot more now. And they said, oh, this is lovely. Yeah, we'll do some nice products. We'll make sure we do them. And what happened was, they kept on saying, I said, well, can I have my products? Can I have my products? You know, I've sent them all the designs and everything, but I've got somebody to design it and everything. And they said, well, we're busy, and, you know, you need to send us some more money and everything. And what actually happened was, I said one day, I said, look, if you're not going to give them me, I want my money back, and I want to get them made somewhere else, because I'm too busy. You know, they said, well, actually, we're not going to give you them, we're keeping them. So do you know what I thought to myself? I cried for about 4 days, actually, because I thought, I've spent all my money, my cash flow, and I've got these really great ingredients and products like the orange flower salmon oil and things like that. And I thought to myself, so I was crying a bit, and I thought, do you know what? Everything that's happened to me so far happened because I thought about it. So I'm not going to be thinking about crying. No way. I'm not going to let them win. So what I did is, I thought, I'm going to make them better. They've got the old formulas. Why don't I just make them better? So I did. So this is where, you know, the creation of things that are bad actually helps me. It's like something that you think is going to be terrible actually pushes you in the right direction. So I always think it's very important to look at the things and say, why has this happened to me? And what can I benefit from it? And I think we do sabotage ourselves. The fear of success or the fear of failure, but either way. And it taught me a lesson, actually. It taught me a really big lesson, because I never forgot the fact that I shoved the cards in the drawer. So I actually carried on thinking about that every single day. And I thought, do you know what? If I'd have just done it and failed, I wouldn't have thought about it again. So I now know, and that's every time I'm frightened to do something, I think to myself, well, no, because I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life if I don't try, and I don't have to think about it. So that was another great lesson to me. But what happened was, if other people made mistakes with the decisions that they told you to make, and they were mistakes, it wasn't actually your decision. So I actually realised that it was better to make my own mistakes than start to listen to everybody. Take the people on board, but because at the end of the day, it's your mistake, isn't it? You're the one that's going to live with whatever it is. So it may as well be your mistake rather than somebody else's mistake. One of my customers had a very, very red face from, actually, it was a problem that you get through menopause, and she got a rash on her face, but it went red all the time, and it was very sore. She couldn't use any products on it whatsoever. So I put a circle in the middle of her throat, and then I saw all these lines coming down, all these lines and lines coming white lines to it. And then it expanded the whole white lines, so the whiteness went, already went. And her name's Mary Roberts, she's 92, not my brother. Anyway, so she absolutely adored it. I devised an aflatoxin that stopped allergic reactions to people that suffer from bees. So you can get the bee venom result without having an allergic reaction. And I patented it. And so what happened was somebody phoned me up from the mail and said, do you want to talk about how the bees are harmed or not? So there was me spouting off about the bees not being harmed, they're doing this and they're really good, and, which is true, you know, they're not harmed, they sting a flat object and it runs down, and it's called milking the bees. And they never can die of stinging again after that, because they're a one-trick pony. Their brain thinks that that's fine, and they live a long and happy life. So it's actually not bad for them at all. It's so that went in the paper, and then all over the world phoned me up. Literally, the whole world phoned me up. At one time, I'd got this sort of company that had come to me and said, we want to buy £1.5 million. I mean, I was destitute really, because at that time I'd used up all my money, and £1.5 million seemed like a lot of money, but I had a little girl called Anna that had come, and she said, can she buy £16,000 of our products? So I went to meet her, and then I went to meet the £1.5 million people. That's their initial order, which was very exciting. And I said to them, you can have China, but you can't have Taiwan. And they said, well, we want Taiwan as well. I said, no, I've given Taiwan to this 19-year-old girl. And I was really pleased I did, because I thought, well, if I haven't got my values, then nobody else will, you know. So actually, what happened after that was I lost the deal for £1.5 million because they wanted both. And so I sold £19,000 to Anna. I flew over to Taiwan, and when I got off the plane, I think the whole of Taiwan was there. They'd got heaven written on their heads, they'd got, and I didn't even know whether somebody would meet me at the airport. And it was really, really funny, because what had happened is Mr. Fong was the father of Anna, and he'd sent Anna to see whether I was a good quality individual to do business with. And the 19,000 turned into quite a few million over the time. You know, if I hadn't have stood my guns, I could have just ended up being in a different path. And so, this is where I think it's very, very important to think about what you want to do in your life.